Hi everybody, welcome. This is our first session, and so I am going to each week post a video, sometimes short, sometimes long, about what we're going to be covering in this class. So one of the things that I want to talk about in regards to this class is the first piece is that this is your textbook, and you will be required to use this textbook. You're going to need it in order to do your weekly discussion responses. Additionally, you'll see in the course calendar, under calendar and sequence, in each unit, there's going to be either a link or an article that I'm requesting you to read. If it's an article, you're going to need to go into the POC library and do a search for that article, and it will be there. I generally choose articles from CEC, one of their publications, which is the Council for Exceptional Children. Additionally, I want to remind you that your annotated list is going to be due very quickly. It is a long assignment. Additionally, you'll have your signature assignment, which is also going to be a pretty intense assignment. So my suggestion is to start with your annotated list and get it out of the way. So start today. Don't wait on your annotated list or you're not going to get it done. It is time consuming, and it is part of the 15 hours of required research that you're to do independently. So I highly suggest that you get your annotated list started immediately. One of the things I want to talk about today is just an introduction to why we have a transition assessment. So in regards to transition assessments, well, not just assessments, but transitions in general, the individual transition plan is part of an IEP. It's mandated at law at age 16 for students. Best practices is at 14. So in regards to creating your transition, it's an important piece for all of your students. For those of you who aren't teaching yet, you'll find that a lot of the jobs that are available now and just in general are for high school students in special ed. It's harder to come by an elementary school class than it is to come by a high school teaching position. Where we get Indicator 13 from comes from federal law. And I'm just going to read to you the current measurement language for Indicator 13, because this is why transition has become so important. There's been a new push by the federal government and thus the state government on transition planning. So I just want to read this to you. Percent of youth with IEPs age 16 and above with an IEP that include appropriate measurable post-secondary goals that are annually updated and based upon an age-appropriate transition assessment, transition services, including courses of study that will reasonably enable the student to meet those post-secondary goals. The annual IEP goals related to the student's transition service needs. There also must be evidence that the student was invited to the IEP team meeting where transition services are to be discussed, and evidence that, if appropriate, a representative of any participating agency was invited to the IEP team meeting with the prior consent of the parent or student who has reached the age of majority. So Indicator 13 really from IDEA really indicates the importance of the individual transition plan. IDEA ends when a child either gets their diploma or ages out at 22, and it's our job as educators to get students ready for that next step, whatever that step may be. It could be university, it could be community college, it could be a vocational program, it could be independent living skills program, a community-based instruction program, all of those different pieces. There's a very large continuum of what's out there for students. For students with developmental disabilities, Regional Center offers services at 22. They will not offer services prior to the age of 22 due to the trailer bill. That happened maybe 2 years ago. So I hope I'm not talking too fast for you, but I don't want to keep you watching me forever. One thing that I am planning on doing is having 2 coffee shops where, and I'm calling them coffee shops for lack of a better word, where I'll be sitting at POC on a Wednesday, probably at about 5:30. And if you have questions or you want to chat, you want to talk about what you're learning, I'll be there for about an hour. If people show up and they need more than an hour, I'm happy to stay longer than an hour. And I will make sure that I email you guys those dates. All right. I look forward to working with you and seeing you online.